This is Lord of Mafka, aka Rogan Ozrine, and in today's video, I want to talk about every industry exploits male rejection. And I want to shout out Morris Wayne for this video. Shouts out to you, man, the rest of you guys who tune in. But without further ado, let's get into tonight's video quickly. Now, for one, I want to blame the music industry for one because I think the music industry for over years has pumped out a lot of garbage and just ridiculous songs about needing love, wanting to go after someone who doesn't want you, wanting some type of intimate relationship that's just a empty fling and doesn't mean anything in the long term. We have to look at the music industry as being a powerful vessel to why a lot of men are just being profited off of their rejection, because you have a lot of these guys that are coming out of high school that are just now turning 18, 19, and they're still getting rejected like they most likely were back in high school. So when they turn on these songs like by these guys like Little Peep, XX Tentacion, Juice World, Trippy Red, when they turn on a lot of these songs with these guys saying in these lyrics that I need love, I'm so empty, I have to chase her even though she doesn't want me, like, these things are going to get into your subconscious and make you want to automatically go after someone who does not want you. And I have a saying for when it comes to desire. I say now, the more you desire, the more you expire, because the more things that you are tempted to desire, the more it takes you out of that place of stillness. You never are able to look at things in an efficient way to where you can fully function in the society we live in now. And this is why I say I blame the music industry also for being the downfall and really exploiting male rejection. Because there are a lot of dudes that listen to a lot of these songs that are, just slow paced, these lo-fi nostalgic songs, and they have all these lyrics about heartbreak, wanting someone who doesn't want you. And am I saying there's anything wrong with listening to that? No, but I'm just saying you have to be aware of the programming that's in this music, because you've had a lot of musical artists come out and talk about how they train you to want things that you probably wouldn't even want if you didn't listen to that song in the first place. MK Mind Control, real thing. And number two, I also want to talk about gaming as well, along with sports. Now, gaming and sports, yes, guys, is a tool that really is being used to profit off male rejection. Because you have to look at, if you're a man that's not really getting any play like that, you're going to want to go to things that give you escapism. If you're not successful with women, if you're not successful in your financial life, if your family's always giving you problems, you've always been the black sheep of the family, told that you're a screw up, your parents don't respect you, you're always told that you're last place, like, you're gonna go to video games and sports as escapism. And this is something that I've noticed with men in the boomer generation as well, dude, because it's like my dad is about like 66 or 67 years old boomer, right? And he still watches the game, and sometimes he'll say, "Oh yeah, son," whenever I talk to him on the phone when I'm not working, he'll say, "Why don't you watch the game? You need to get into the game. You've been like this since a kid where you're not into sports." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't see the appeal in sports. I like doing things that I'm actually maneuvering and doing, something like gaming." Even though gaming as well, yes, it exploits male rejection, but you have to look at a lot of these avenues, they can't help but replace that type of hole and burden that men have to deal with. Because even going back to my point of a lot of boomer men liking sports, right, and of course men in this generation of mine liking sports as well, you have to look at a part of that is because they're trying to vent out and observe some of that frustration physically through other players on the field in football, basketball, exerting their physical energy. And the guy that is indulging in that sports, right? Excuse me. The guy who is really looking at that type of sports team vent out that type of physical activity by winning that game, they start rooting for that team, and then they start exerting their energy. So these industries can't help but be popular with men, because it's also a cover up for the rejection that men face. Like, you have to look at the men who actually are into these things, like, most likely. Like, a lot of these guys that you see that are using games and sports as an escapism, these guys are not successful in their dating life. They're not successful with socializing with people. They're not successful with trying to really make something of themselves, and people around him just stop him. That is the life for men in general. And there's nothing wrong with these things, but you just have to be aware of the things that can happen once you get addicted to, like, gaming too much in sports. It's just a cover up ploy for male rejection, I would say. And number three, the biggest thing I would say that obviously exploits male rejection and loneliness is the adult industry. This is one of the most parasitic things that has been really introduced to the planet. And sadly, it can't help but just be integrated into our society so deeply because of how dating has become such a plague for men to really embark on. So it's understandable why you have men who have that type of addiction to exotic content. They like looking at OF girls online, like do pictures and stuff like that on Instagram, liking every girl's page. It's understandable when you look at the aspect of the rejection that that man has been through and how he's trying to cover that deep hole of hurt that he's feeling inside. But when we look at the real long term effects of looking at this type of exotic content, it's really not good. Because, for one, it turns you into a person who's going to always go after gratification. And there's nothing wrong with pleasuring yourself and treating yourself to a good meal, treating yourself to something that you really enjoy doing. But when you overdo something, you create a psychological issue to where you aren't able to really function in today's world. And you have to be on guard 24/7, because this isn't about some type of weird type of shaming taboo that a lot of these semen retention weirdos love to do, right? It's not about that. What it's about is being aware of what's around you. You have to be aware 24/7 of the people that you are interacting with. You have to be aware of the people that you aren't interacting with. So when you're a man, you can't afford to have downtime to where there is a time to where you're just totally chilling out and you're not worried about nothing. You have to be being strategic at every moment. And this is the type of ability that is took from you when you're over consuming that type of content, man. And it really sucks because a lot of dudes really don't have anything else. I mean, you see the increase of AI apps encouraging men to have AI partners, and it's become a brutal world for men to where they're on their phone texting this AI person like it's a real woman or whatever. And it just becomes a sad type of life for a man to where he becomes an artificial trace of what's in this society. He's a statistic at this point of all of the rejection he's been through, all of the loneliness, which we all are. And the only way you can balance it out to where it doesn't affect you as much is by being aware of how this can create insanity in yourself. And the reason why adult content becomes something that is just so detrimental and bad in the long term is because, for one, you have to look at the men who are looking at this content. They really don't have interactions with women like that are positive. And this is the saddest thing about it. A lot of dudes don't have positive interactions with girls to where they've been on a regular date with a woman, walking in the park, going to the carnival, doing things to where he's having activity with a girl to where he's trying to win her a teddy bear over a game to where he has to, like, pick up the thing, whatever you use at, like, the carnival, right? The stick to just get the item out. Like, men don't have those type of experiences anymore to where these are emotional solidified experiences to where that guy can be confident in himself and still pursue dating, even though he sometimes watches exotic content, when in reality exotic content has fully took over the man's mind. And this is something that you really have to be urgent and really wary about when you're overindulging in that type of stuff. And it also, it numbs you to what is really going on around you. It makes you think that somehow the type of artificial reality for you is the answer, when in reality the artificial reality that we are partaking in 24/7 is not the answer. And we have to still do things to where we're physically mobile out here and we're getting around. And the brutal thing that I find to be the most disturbing part about this is the exotic industry, the adult content world is pushing for AI as well. It's making AI of adult stars. It's making AI of very seductive things that you should be naturally having a physical human experience with. And this is why it hurts men so much, because you take a young man's mind and you put him in an artificial world to where he's had no type of positive experiences with girls. He's had no type of real contact with a girl actually wanting him, craving him, wanting to be around him, give him a marriage, give him a child, all of the things that were around back then in the 50s and 60s. When you take men from that type of society, you create guys who are addicted to these things, and they become even more lost in their lives to where they don't know where they're going, they don't know the people they're dealing with. I mean, it's a really sad time to be a man in 2025, because it's not worth it. Living the life of a everyday man, it isn't worth it. And if most men had the choice, they would pick to be a man who has money. They would pick to be a man who is attractive. They would pick to be a man who has a strong social circle. I mean, I'm talking too freaking fast here. They would pick to have that over being a guy who has nothing and has to fight for every crumb of normalcy to get he gets in his life. I mean, it's sad. The fact that you want a normal life is considered a high standard now, which is just screwed up, and it shows you how backwards our society is going, dude. But this is why I say all of these industries are exploiting male rejection. So you guys take care. Like and subscribe if you're new. Tell what else you guys want me to elaborate on in the comment section. I highly appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. And like I always tell you guys, stay away from the modern woman. Thank you.